Welcome to ProjectME, the podcast. I'm your host, Tiffany Carter, the founder of ProjectME, multimillionaire entrepreneur, former TV newscaster, money-making expert, female empowerment speaker, and self-proclaimed office supply addict. My mission is to take the mystery out of making big money. Every week on ProjectME, the podcast, I'll share success tips, strategies, and stories from other entrepreneurs, experts, and millionaires, showing you exactly how you can achieve your most exceptional life. Now let's get to it. You are listening to ProjectME with Tiffany Carter, the podcast, episode number 14, 4 digital marketing hacks that I swear by. So you guys get ready. If you are somewhere where you can take notes, that's great. If not, I've designed this episode so that all you have to do is go back into the show notes for the episode, and the links that I've mentioned are in there. And of course, it's recorded, so you can always replay the episode when you have a pen and paper handy. So, I know this whole digital marketing thing can get really exhausting, whether you're someone who didn't come from the digital age and now you're having to get hip to the skip, or you're someone who started your business without having to use much digital marketing. Maybe you just have a basic website and most of your business comes from referrals or networking at events, which is awesome. That's another way to do it. But if you're starting from scratch or you're wanting to up level from where you're currently at, you need to get into the digital marketing game. There's no way around it. It's got to happen. But I'm going to give you some ways that's going to make it easier for you, where it's not going to be as complex and overwhelming. Okay, I know how crazy it can be. You can ask 10 different people who are successful in digital marketing, and they each will give you probably a slightly different answer. But one thing they'll all agree on is they will all say, no, you absolutely have to have a presence in the digital world. Basically, it is your digital storefront in a way, whether you yourself are your own brand, you're a business coach or a consultant, you yourself are your own brand, you need to have that digital storefront. That digital storefront works for you while you're doing other things. That's at work 24/7. So you have to also have a mindset with this whole digital movement that it's a good thing. There's a lot of people, including my fiance for that matter, who has a really large resistance to it. And I can understand that because so many people make it sound so complicated and overwhelming. And there's so many apps and platforms and services that are available, which is why I was inspired to do this episode for you guys, to just knock it all down and make it simple. And then over time, you can gradually, increase and try new things. Okay. You don't have to do everything at once, because then what happens is most of us get paralyzed and then we end up doing nothing, or we do a bunch of things a tiny bit, which isn't going to do anything. All right. So I want to make sure that you get into that digital mix, but that mindset part of it, try to look at it as an amazing thing. Now you will be able to create or have created a full publicity campaign and storefront for your business or your brand that is working for you all around the world 24/7. Well, last time I checked, it's not humanly possible for you to do that. Even if you were a billionaire and had a huge team of people, it's not possible. So you're having something work for you and promote you and talk about you, and conversations about you and your brand are happening at all hours of the day while you're sleeping, while you're working maybe one-on-one with people, while you're running your storefront, or while you're doing something fun. That's the amazing thing about it. So try to look at it in that way versus kind of going, oh, technology is so hard. It's made everything harder. Well, when we think that way, guess what? Now our minds end up looking out there for evidence to validate that thought. So now you see every single thing that's hard, or anytime something goes wrong when you're on your computer. Oh, I hate technology. See, technology sucks. So first flip that mindset that it's actually a good thing and that there's just a lot of noise out there and a lot of people who've overcomplicated it. Okay. So look for people that are doing things like I am, or who have even books out there, ebooks that have really simplified it. If it feels overwhelming and complicated to you, then that's not the right person for you to be listening to. That's just, you're not at that same stage. You're not jiving with their communication style, or they're maybe speaking to someone who's a lot more tech savvy and you're not their ideal audience, so to speak. Okay. And if I don't jive with you on this podcast, and this seems even too much for you, then go listen to a different episode on something else. Okay. But I highly doubt that'll happen because I'm going to keep it so simple, as though I'm explaining it to my 77-year-old mom. That's how I've designed this episode. All right. So we're going to get to it. So I'm giving you 4 of the digital marketing hacks that I swear by. So the first thing is to batch content. What does this mean? Okay. Well, when you're out there in the digital world with, your website, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Pinterest, YouTube, you have to be involved in social platforms to have a really good digital storefront, so to speak. Well, you can't just have them sit there with no content or take a picture of what you had for lunch or your pedicure or your dog all the time. You have to have consistent content that makes sense to your brand, that teaches people something, that's engaging and entertaining. Okay. And that can be overwhelming. That's a lot to write. I can't tell you how many people I've worked with that are like, I want to make millions off of a blog. And they're all excited and hopped up about it. And then after about 2 weeks, they've burned themselves out because it is so much content writing, and it has to be good content with images, with hyperlinks, with hashtags, that they burn out. So here's what I teach people to do. And this is what we do at my company. We batch content. So you take it might take you a full day, whatever it takes you. It'll probably take you 1 full day. Sometimes when you first start out, it takes 2, depending on how fast of a writer you are, if you have a team or an assistant or a social media person. And you need to write at least a month's worth of content at a time in that playing field. So what do you write it in? Okay, well, I've created a Excel spreadsheet, and don't get a rash when I say Excel. Okay, it doesn't have to be in Excel, but I created a template, and I will soon be making that into a freebie for you guys too, so that you can just use it and type in it yourself, so you don't have to create your own. And in there, you include the days of the week you're going to post, depending on your business. I'll just say 5 to 7 days. Okay. And then you put in the time that you want that to be posted at. You put in your actual caption, what your post is. You have your hashtags, and if you're linking to something, and you have that all set in there, and the dates are on the top. So you're literally putting all your content in one organized document. Okay. And then you save it for whatever that month is, July 2018 content, social content. And so then if you need someone else to look it over, which I think is smart, but I understand if you don't have a lot of resources, but maybe it's a friend or a spouse or someone, just to look it over for any typos or any weird misspellings or anything like that. And then all you're doing is just sending them that one document, right? So it keeps it easy. This way, you just freed yourself up for basically a solid 3.5 weeks of not having to worry about content. Well, Tiffany, I wrote it. How does it get on the dang things? Okay. Second point, second digital hack I swear by. I'll call it, instead of it being number 2, it's 1A. Put all of this content that you've batched into an auto poster. I don't recommend writing all your content, your month's worth of content in a day, and then that very same day putting it in an auto poster. I recommend doing that the next day. because you're going to be kind of cross-eyed by the time you finish that content. And when you put it into the auto poster, it's another chance for you to reread each post to make sure it's something you really want to say, or you'll be able to catch a grammatical error or a typo as well. And also, it's not as overwhelming. You don't need to do it all on the same day. The auto poster that I really, really love, I'm pretty loyal to them, is Hootsuite. You may have heard of them. That link is in the show notes. And Hootsuite is free. We use the pro version here, but you can use the free version depending on, the size of your business and how many accounts. And they take you right through it. They have an awesome website/blog tutorial that shows you. And when I say it's simple, it really is that simple. Like, there's literally just when you start putting your information into, the content box, there's a calendar where you put the date and the time you want it posted at. You select which social media channels you want it to post on, and you upload your, whatever image you want to use, right from your laptop or your desktop. Super easy. Now everything is in an auto poster, all of it's in there, and you basically just freed up 3.5 weeks of having to do any content. Does that mean you can't get inspired? Maybe you took a trip or something really cool happened with a customer and you want to share it? Of course. That's not, so what? Now you can add to it, but now your bases are covered and you have peace of mind. And at the very least, it takes you a day and a half, let's just say. At the very most, a day and a half. If you have no one to help you, you're doing it all yourself. And in the beginning, it might take you 2 days of time, but that's okay. 2 days of time in exchange for a month. That sounds like a pretty smart business move to me. Okay. So the second digital marketing hack is, if you want to be seen online and you are not, The Rock, which I think he changed his name recently to his back to his real name or something. Or, you're not Kim Kardashian. People likely don't know who the hell you are. And even if you have a pretty popular business, someone in another country or someone across the country isn't going to necessarily know who you are. How would they find you? You have to use hashtags. What hashtags do I use, Tiffany? And I see it over and over again. Even people who actually have a pretty large following, I see them using really generic hashtags, and that's not going to grow them really fast in that way. And it's also not serving your customers. You have to think of what your customers search for in order to find you, right? Like if you have a beauty product based business or a beauty blog, what would you be Googling to end up on getting cool, skincare tips? Or if you have some kind of a car business, what would people Google to look for car restoration or some kind of cool aftermarket rims or something like that? You've got to put in hashtags and think about what that customer would look for. And because you are that customer yourself. So to make it easy for you, so you don't have to sit there and going, what hashtags? And then you start typing them into Twitter, or you type them into Instagram and see what pops up. Okay, we're not doing that. What you guys are going to do is you're going to go to sites like WriteTag or hashtagify.me. Both of those links are in the show notes. And what they do is they will pull up the popular hashtags, in general. So you can see what are the most trending hashtags, and those change all the time. That's what WriteTag's really good for. Hashtagify Me lets you know the hashtags that are trending in your niche. Okay. So my niche is helping female entrepreneurs make money off of their passion and find financial freedom and self-empowerment. Okay. So there's hashtags that are trending in that specific niche that this site will pull them all up for me, and I can literally copy and paste them and put them into my organized content spreadsheet and then put them in the auto poster. What I also do to be safe, and by the way, I want you guys, every time you write this new content for the month, also use it as a time to go into these hashtag sites. I call them hashtag helpers, because hashtag trends change. All of a sudden now there's like, an it saying that's become a hashtag that's made popular. Okay. So or there's a current event that's happened that can be related to your business. So then you just check those, and it literally takes you not even 5 minutes. No joke. So what I also do is when they pull up those hashtags in my niche, I literally copy and paste them, and I put them in the Notes app in my phone, so that no matter where I'm at, I have the hashtags that I'm going to be using for the month. Why do I do that? Because most people who are serious about their business, there's some cool shit that happens during that month that you're still going to want to do a fresh post about. Like, you got a really cool customer email or text them saying how happy they are with the business, and you want to put that online. So you want to make sure you make it easy for yourself, and you just keep that in your Notes app. And now you have those hashtags in there at your disposal when you get inspired to write something additional or show something additional that's happened in your business. Okay, number 3, scheduling apps. We all want to think we can manage our own schedule. I am super guilty of this, especially with having a podcast. You really don't have a choice. You have to have your calendar pretty damn mapped out and blocked. And most of us have a lot of stuff going on, okay? There's parents out there who have businesses. You have maybe have a grandparent or someone that you're taking care of as well. You maybe have different rental home properties that you manage, or you have doctor's appointments, or your personal self-care time, which needs to be blocked out, going to the gym, to yoga, massage, whatever. So I love using scheduling apps, and not just to help me narrow down and focus my own schedule, but if you're working with clients one-on-one, you definitely need to give them options to be able to connect with you. And if you don't have an assistant that can sit there and actually hand type in what days and times are available, you can just send them your link to your online calendar, and they can pick which time spot works for them. My favorite app for it, I don't even know if I'm pronouncing it right, but it's Calendly, CALENDY.com. Yes, it'll also be in show notes. It is free. They don't even require you to put in a credit card. And then you can literally block off your time, your schedule for the next month. I can't go that far out because I have too many things going on. So we usually do over here like at the most 2 weeks at a time, but whatever works for you. And now you have it blocked out in there, and you have your certain set blocks of time that you're available to speak with people on your business, or if you actually consult or coach with people. Now it's really easy. Or, it's also easy for your personal life. For people you pay to manage your, your finances, your Merrill Lynch guy or whatever it is, or girl, or your attorney or your accountant. You're trying to schedule something. It really makes it a lot easier for the other person to just send the link and they pick the time that works for them. It feels really good to the receiving end person. That's why I started doing it. It felt really good to me. It felt empowering. Like, look at all these choices I have. I get to pick what works best for me to talk to this person. That's really helpful. We don't have to do 8,000 emails back and forth. So that is another app that's super easy, free, and doesn't take more than not even 5 minutes to set up. Okay. And the final digital marketing hack I have for you today is to make sure that the applications and platforms like that I discussed today, or any others that you use regularly, that you make sure that you have the mobile version of that app or that platform on your mobile device that's with you all the time. Okay, so I'll give you an example. Hootsuite, okay, which is the auto poster, social content auto poster I mentioned in number 1. Hootsuite has a great mobile app. And so let's say something posted and I don't know what happened. Maybe someone on my team who put it in the auto poster, made a human error, which happens, and put in the wrong photo with the wrong caption. And then I happened to see it. And instead of taking the time to call up my social person and have them do it, I can just do it on the fly, pull over on the side of the road or go in a parking lot or in line at the grocery store, and I can fix it right from my phone. So there's an example. The calendar app I mentioned, there's a phone app. And you're always with your phone. You could even be, I'm not saying to check out when you're with your family, but we all look at our phones. So you could still be going to the beach with your kids, or, being at a family gathering. And if you need to update, that's, you have 5 minutes or 10 minutes where you can update your calendar, step outside or go in another room and do it, because that means you can enjoy the rest of the party. So put those apps on your phone, as long as you like how the app works on your phone, okay? Just so you know, there's always some limitations when you use the mobile version of apps. It's usually not as robust and all the features aren't there, but the, so to speak, I call them like emergency features are there. Another good one is like Google Docs. If you have important documents that kind of gives you anxiety, if you're going to go on a little weekend trip or a much longer trip, but like, let's say a weekend trip or a day trip, or you're just gone all day at a wedding or whatever, and it's not like you're going to like tote your laptop with you and be a super weirdo. But you have just kind of that, I call it entrepreneurial anxiety, like, oh my God, what if when that person sends me that document back and all I need to do is okay it, but now I can't see it unless I have my laptop. Apps like Google Docs, document sharing apps, you can have that on your phone as well. Or, you can have even Microsoft Word on your phone. And yes, you can have it even if you have an iPhone too. So then therefore you take away that anxiety. I get the, highest memory iPhone I can, because I end up putting on all these apps and documents just for my own peace of mind. I actually rarely ever need to use most of them, but it gives me a peace of mind so I can actually go and enjoy my life. I mean, why else would you be an entrepreneur if you're not enjoying the fact that you're an entrepreneur, that you make your own schedule, you have excess time, you can go here and there, you can hashtag work from anywhere. Well, what's the point if you feel chained totally to your desk or your laptop? That's not always enough, because random things just come up in life, right? So I hope those 4 tips have given you guys some clarity on at least where you can start if you're just starting this process, or how you can kind of regroup and just pare down this process and keep it basic. Just basic. And once you have that down, then you can expand from there. And I'll make sure there'll be a future episode on basically like digital marketing hacks, like level 201, right? So that now you've gotten the 101 down and you can go to the next level and start incorporating a few more. Just don't feel like you have to do all of it just because you see other people do, or because Uncle Joe does, or because Sally from the gym who has a boutique does. It doesn't matter. And first off, we have no idea, or maybe you do, how long they've been doing it or their level of tech savvy, or they may have had a really good friend or one of their kids or someone help them with it. We don't know. So I would say keep it very basic, refine, regroup, and then get a handle on this to where it feels comfortable. And it's not going to feel comfortable in 1 month. I would say by the time you've finished batching your content and using these other hacks, by 3 months, you'll be ready and feel good to bring in a few more. Okay. And by that time, there'll be another episode to where I can give you those next level. Okay. So hopefully you guys got a lot out of this. Please share with me. Come hit me up over on Instagram at ProjectME with Tiffany. And also you leave a review and share what you got out of it so that other people can find this too. That's the only way other people can find it. And that's the only way we can keep doing these high value podcasts because they cost a lot of money to produce. All right. Thanks again, guys, and wishing you great wealth, health, and worth always. If you enjoyed this podcast, please write a 5-star review on iTunes. Not only will this make me super happy, but it will allow more listeners to find our special show. Simply help me help others.